Hi everyone, my name is Weisheng and I am a venture capitalist, and I'm here today to evaluate some good ideas to see if they are worth investing.
Okay, if a venture capitalist were to invest 1 million, okay, to be honest, right, I have this one idea at the back of my head. So it's kind of like similar to Grab, you know, instead of just delivering food, but this app covers everything, like literally everything. So it's kind of like running errands, providing services as well. So different services like washing your car, getting grocery, cleaning your house, windows, everything.
So I think what the young gentleman has suggested is a great idea, and I think it's been tested out by many companies, including Gojek in Indonesia. For example, there's a company in India called Urban Company, which does sort of like on-demand cleaning services. I think the difficulty that has been faced by some of these companies is that the margins are very thin. And therefore, you need to really go scale, like you need a really large volume for you to be able to make enough margins to cover your fixed costs. And sometimes we realize that, you know, given the scale of these companies, the fixed costs are really high, such that even at scale, it's difficult to cover those fixed costs, and you need to find additional revenue streams to cover. So as a VC, it's not necessarily the first business that I would look at, because to scale this is also tricky, right? Because you need to basically hire more people on the supply side to meet your demand. So this is one of those businesses that actually, it doesn't seem like it, but it's actually very capital intensive. The other aspect that I wanted to look at is the concept of disintermediation, which means to say that if I use your platform as a discovery platform, and you know, I might get you for the first time, but in subsequent cases where I need somebody to clean my house or I need somebody to fix my window, I would just go to him directly and circumventing your platform entirely. In that case, then I would lose that margin that I'm supposed to be making, which is a real danger for a lot of such companies.
If a venture capitalist were to invest in an idea that I create, it will be for an automatic pet feeder which runs on an app. Yeah, so currently there are products like that, but there's no product for wet food. As someone who works a 9 to 5 job, I don't really have time to feed my cat during lunchtime. So if the app is able to run on a smartphone, it will be good for me so I can feed it remotely.
So yeah, I think that's a really good idea. You know, there are many people who own pets in Singapore, and the number is just going to increase more and more as the society gets more affluent and people seek companionship. So I think definitely a growing market. But as a VC, ultimately I want to look at a space that is really large, so that this can potentially become a huge outsized return for me. I just don't know whether that market is really that big. I would ask the founder or the entrepreneur whether he or she would like to take this out of Singapore as well, and if so, I would be much more interested in backing this company. And beyond just the pet food feeder, if they can think of other sort of products or services that they can add on that can generate more value for the company.
I think I would create an app that can probably calculate the amount of food consumption that every household needs, because I think a lot of us buy food that we don't need and we end up wasting it. It doesn't have to be like a standalone app, but it can be like collaboration with supermarkets or food places where you can actually just buy what you need and don't waste food.
My initial thoughts on this is that how does this app make money? At the end of the day, you know, I invest behind something. I have to know that at some point, maybe not right now, but in future, there has to be some sort of revenue stream coming in. And so if the app can get, let's say for example, enough homemakers or enough people who make decisions around the house to use it and make decisions on their food purchases, then I can foresee guys like supermarkets or e-commerce grocery platforms potentially sort of spending advertising dollars and marketing dollars and promotion dollars on the platform. So yeah, everything goes back to adoption. If the adoption is high and adoption is frequent, and I can get an adoption without having to pay people to come to the app, then I can monetize through a variety of ways. But that's the first question that I'll ask myself. What's the revenue stream later on, and how would I get people to adopt and get people to stake on the platform? I think my first advice is don't go building a solution and looking for a problem to solve, because you would then not build towards what the problem or the opportunity actually requires. If you're a young person and you're kind of like lack of ideas, but you have a lot of energy and a lot of ambition to do things, I would say join a startup. Join a tech firm, join a company where the founder is still in charge of the company, and then you can really absorb that founder DNA, and hopefully some of that founder DNA carries over with you when you eventually start your own company. And in the process of joining a startup, the startup may work, may not work, may fail, may be a great success. All these are lessons for you to take in, right? Because whatever did not work is also a lesson. Oh, that did not work. I shouldn't do that in the future. Oh, that worked well. I'll take that away for myself and utilize that in the future.